unfortunately, there are not a great deal of academic sources to refer to on this subject, as it is somewhat of a folk art, but as it is something for the common man and the common man's understanding, we shall go to the typical sources of which a common man may first endeavor to learn about a subject, and that would be Wikipedia, which does have a surprisingly adequate description of wrestling terminology here in their glossary of professional wrestling terms. So perhaps by delving into this fount of information, we can gain some insight into the plans of this San Antonio Sartori and try to determine what he intends to do. Perhaps the first terminology we should look at is that of the angle, which the angle is a storyline. An angle usually begins when one wrestler attacks another, verbally, physically, or verbally, which results in revenge. Now, say that San Antonio Sartori began an angle with his overtaking of my YouTube channel. In one sense, this was an attack on myself, more of a digital attack more so than physical. I saw your little video. San Antonio's got some words for you. You see, you authors, you big brains, you're always failing to understand the critical point of the message. What is wrestling? Is it a means of defeating your foes? Not precisely. That is what everyone questions, the legitimacy of the battle. But that is not what wrestling is about. Wrestling is about telling a story. And if you want to learn the meaning of a character, of a setting, of a place, a plot, you must do so within the story. You don't just go and open up a document and read a bunch of definitions and think you can understand. That's just like talking about what happens in the ring. But the only way you understand what happens in the ring is by getting in the ring. If you want to understand the words, the only way is to understand them within the story. Now, I understand that not everyone has familiarized themselves with that beast, with that reality that is the squared circle and the program behind it and all aspects of the world of professional wrestling. But that's why San Antonio Sartori is here, not to preach, but to teach. Sartori is going to bring you back to the beginning, to the basics. See, you're not the only one with a book. I got a book too. This was from my mama and daddy. And as you can see, this is a children's book. It's an illustrated picture book filled with nothing but stories. But within those stories are deep and profound truths. Truths about the reality of wrestling. Because this is wrestling stories of the Bible. We're going to start here at the beginning. But you've had enough reading from San Antonio Sartori. So I'm going to give you a little break. And this ought to make that author happy, because I'm going to bring back the old guy. He's going to take a little hiatus from his hiatus to read you a story. You better listen up, because I expect you to know and understand. You hear? Close your eyes, open your ears, and expand your imagination. We're going in the ring. The beginning. There once was a CEO who started a new promotion. He had a great book planned, and only he knew all the programs that would lead to the ultimate payoff. He created an arena and put the squared circle in the middle. In the ring, he put a new character named the Man. The plan was for him to inherit the whole company someday, but he was super green. He was going to have to learn the whole business. The promoter set up everything the man would need to train, but there was one thing that was off limits: the juice. So first, the promoter bought a whole stable of characters before the man, and the man got to name each one and figure out their gimmick. He worked a dark match with each one, but the program was missing a draw. The CEO knew it was not good for the man to be alone. So the promoter shut down the show and revealed that pairing him with a bunch of animal gimmicks was really part of the ultimate rib by revealing the perfect second: the woman. She was more than just a valet. She was the perfect partner to help the man in training, sparring, and business, and even in the ring, the ultimate mixed tag team. The man and the woman were married, and the show was ready to begin. Now, the promoter had big plans for the man, but he started him at the bottom as a worker to learn the whole business, how to set up and tear down, and even security. Now, one day, a wrestler called the Snake came into the locker room. He was the most talented worker on the card, guaranteed to be a main eventer. He was smart and knew how to act like a good hand. His ring psychology was so good that to this day, the fans aren't sure if the Snake was supposed to be a heater, if this was a worked shoot, and the promoter wanted him to jerk the curtain with a hot shot, or maybe the CEO just knew that the Snake had an angle to do what he wanted. When he decided to shoot on the woman, it doesn't seem like he was aiming for the strap. He didn't even care about getting that sting money. He had plans of going into business for himself, not just as a worker, but to become his own agent, in charge of the book, with sights on taking over the whole business. But in order to do so, he knew that the man and woman would need to be future endeavored. The Snake approached the woman as if he was a manager and asked her why the promoter wouldn't let them use the supplements in the gym. He really knew how to sell, and she told him that the promoter hadn't forbidden them from using all the supplements, only the juice. The Snake started telling her that this was not a kayfabe rule, but that the promoter was keeping the juice protected from the man and the woman because he was a closet champion who didn't want to put over the man or the woman. He was worried it would make them as strong as he was, and they might even beat him in clean wrestling. Seeing that there's nothing dangerous about the juice and that it will make them stronger, The woman decides to take it. The man was standing there, letting the woman be his mouthpiece. He was probably worried about the snake poaching the woman. So when she decides to call it in the ring, he decides that he's going to no-sell the snake's angle and play along. The man did not want to be a Janetti. If the woman is going to turn, he is going to turn with her. He took a hit, and suddenly both of them realized it had been a screw job, but a legit one, not part of the work. And the man and the woman had broken kayfabe big time. They needed to get rid of their go-away heat, so they worked out a new gimmick as Mr. and Mrs. Figtree. When they heard the CEO coming, they tried to hide backstage. The CEO got out the stick and called out to the man, asking, "Where are you?" "I heard your promo from the ring, and I hid, because I broke kayfabe." "Who told you that you broke kayfabe? Have you taken the juice I told you not to?" "It was the valet that you gave me. She made the call, and I tried to sell it." So the CEO asked the woman what happened, and she told him. "The snake planned to shoot on me. He saw I was an easy mark." Just when the snake thought he might get away with the phantom title change, the CEO let him know it was going to be a dusty finish. "Because you've done this, you're cursed. Cursed beyond all the jobbers and low-carders. Cursed to slink on your belly and eat dust all your life." The CEO tells the man and the woman that he will write off the whole program, but he will send them down to the developmental league, and the man will have to do garbage wrestling to make a living, while the snake slivers off to parts unknown. But although this match ends in a fall, he shares his plans for the revamp. "I'm declaring war between you and the woman, between your stable and hers. He'll give you a head drop. You'll wound his heel." The fall is an ending of an era. But this promise hints at the beginning, with the hope of a babyface who will win the everlasting strap, a champion whose reign will never end. The CEO gave the fig leaf man and woman a burial and repacked them a new gimmick, a tough leather look to show the rest of the creatures who's boss. He gave them a big push to keep any mid-carders from interfering in their work, and to let everyone know their place on the card was protected. Then the CEO picked up the stick and made one last promo. Now that the man and the woman have teased a heel turn, I do not want them to reach out and grab the strap, which is hanging from the ceiling of the arena in the center of the ring. So he put his glorified jobbers in the gorilla position to act as enforcers and keep everyone out of the big arena until it was time for the main event, and put the man and the woman on a one-way bus out of the big city.